Can you believe we're back in the kitchen? Happy Tuesday morning, y'all. I was like, I'm fixing to do a video. We're going to make Mr. Buddy's sauerkraut. Now, y'all seen me do it in the quart mason jars, but I don't believe that y'all have seen me do it in my large glass crock. You've seen me do pickles and things like that, but not actually a big batch of sauerkraut. So I was like, hey, my friends may want to see this. Because if y'all remember Sunday's video, I believe, yes, I inserted a picture of 4 cabbages that we harvested. I have still 2 out there that I'm watching. They're small. I mean, not too small, but they may be able to finish coming on, and then I'll do cabbage rolls or something with those and then get them in the freezer. But this morning, while I have a window of time, I was like, let's get the sauerkraut out of the way. So I did a lot of prep work already, but I left some so you could see step by step of everything that I do. Now, you're going to need clean hands, a good bowl. Now, I'm using the big one because I'll be working this cabbage. Everything needs to be cleaned. The most important, you're going to need a scale. I'm a stickler on when it comes to fermenting, especially sauerkraut, because there is a little bit of science. Not enough that will make you go, oh no, I'm not doing that. It's just simple math. And like I said, I'm doing mine in a glass crock. You can do the same thing in quart mason jars or even half-gallon mason jars, as long as we cover the kraut. But we'll get to that. Let's start by prepping our cabbage. So all my cabbage was washed, and I left out the smallest one that still had the piece of the core, okay? So let's start there and then move forward. And I do use pickling salt. You can use any salt except iodine salt. Absolutely no. One, it's going to discolor. Okay, not a big deal, but it is because it's actually going to alter the good bacteria that we're trying to reach. And that's what's so good about sauerkraut. It holds such a good bacteria. It's great for your digestion. So Buddy eats about a forkful, I'd say tablespoon maybe, 3 times a day. And it's also good to eat after a heavy meal because it helps everything digest. But sauerkraut is very beneficial to our good health gut. So I never let him run out of it. Even if I buy it at the store, I wash it up and I'll make him a jar or 2. But with this, I promised I would make him a large vat. And then after my 5 to 7 days, I don't let mine go 2 weeks. 5 to 7 days, I'm going to let him start tasting it to get to that pickling taste. It should not taste salty. It should have that pickling taste. And that's really going to be to the judgment of the one tasting it. And then I will just package it up in pint or quart jars, put it in the ice box, and it will last months and months. Now, ours don't last that long, but with the amount I'm making, he may get 3 months, 4 months out of it. So not too bad. But let's get to the cabbage head. After I pick up my mess that talking with my hands, I kind of slung it a little bit. And get you coffee. I mean, it's good Lord, it's already 11:15. I didn't know it done got that late in the day. Y'all, I've been in that shed working. I did not know it got that late. All right, I got a bus to move. Ain't that what them kids say? I want y'all to look at this pile of cabbage. Now, I do, which I'm going to show you, I julienne mine very small, and I use a knife. You can use one of them food processors because it's something therapeutic about a knife. So I prefer to use a knife. Okay, let's get our core out. And it doesn't matter, what size cabbage head you're working with. You're just going to cut it in half and make sure you remove any blisters or bad spots. I give that to the chickens. So our core is out. This is 1/2 of a cabbage. And I like to take mine and put it in 3s. If it's real large, I may put it in 4s. So let's go ahead and do 4s just for video purpose. Okay, move our 3 pieces over here. And then I am just going to julienne. Now you see I'm not going long ways. I'm going from the tip out. And that's the perfect size piece that Buddy likes. Well, I do too. And these little bitty hard pieces, I keep those, guys. It's crunchy. Okay, let's get back our other one. We're just going to do it again, following with the point. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. You really have to cut it either any way that you want. But I have found this works best because we'll put this, coming up with spring, we'll put this on our dogs that we grill outside. We're big sauerkraut eaters anyway, so him more than I, to be honest. Now this is a little soft green, but it's pretty, so I am going to keep it. The chickens have got plenty. You see, it's just that simple. Here we go. Let's get this other one. Okay, we've got that cut up. Now, before we move forward, let me give y'all a helpful hint. I may need this as well. I don't think so. My cabbage has a lot of moisture in it. But a good rule of thumb, because you're not wasting anything, get you a cup of water. So for every cup of distilled water. Now, if you're using city water, it has chlorine. You're going to need to draw it up the night before, let it sit on the counter, and the chlorine will evaporate from city water. I have well water, so I'm fine with that. But for every cup of water, 1/4 teaspoon canning salt. You can bring it just to a warm. You don't need to boil it. Just enough to where that salt dissolves. Set it to the side, set it in the ice box. It'll keep a long time. What that's going to do, that's going to allow you, if you don't have enough natural moisture in your cabbage, say it's old, it's dried out, you can reach in there, or if you made it last night or early this morning, reach in there, and that gives you a saltwater brine to top your sauerkraut off with. Because remember, this has to be submerged under the brine. So it's always good to just make up a cup, or you could do 2 cups depending on the volume. But I say a cup with 1/4 of a teaspoon of non-iodine salt. So it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to push pickling salt. It's just what my preference is. It's dirt cheap. I keep boxes of it, but that's just my preference. And you can have you a salt brine, so just in case your cabbage is dry, you got a backup plan to top it off. So, cup of water, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, non-iodine, and you're off to the races. Then you don't have to worry. So, we got to get this weighed out. Do we need to weigh now? That's a fresh pot, too, just made. Holy cow. Whew. It don't get old. Let's get to weighing. Well, I'm glad I've got a large workstation. Now, we're going to be weighing by grams. Yes, by grams. Now, hopefully I can see without getting the big scale, this big bowl, because we've got to tare it. Let me move some more of this stuff out of the way. Oh, yeah, that's just fine. All right, let's tare it. We're back to 0. Now, I'm just going to fill this up. Okay, I'm going to make a notation on this pad, how many grams, because we got to do a little bit of math. So I've got 2,974 grams. Okay, we've got 2,974 grams. My glasses are dirty. Get your pen and paper. You're going to multiply that by 0.02. 0.02. That's going to give you the correct grams of salt that we're going to need to ferment our sauerkraut. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a large batch, a very tiny batch, as long as you take your gram and multiply it by 0.02, you're on the money. So that's what I'm fixing to do, is multiply it. That means I got to hang the phone up a second because my calculator's on my phone, you on my phone, and I can't have both of you on the phone at the same time. Okay, I've got my little ramekin here. We'll zero it out. And we need 0.5948 in grams of pickling salt. I went ahead and took the time and I multiplied it using 2.5. So we have 2,974 grams of cabbage already prepared. So you prepare it however you want. Never weigh your cabbage till you have it prepared. I did mine at 0.02, which I needed 59.48 grams of salt. Some of you may like it a little bit more salty, so you would do math by 2.5. So you would do your total grams multiplied by 2.5. So if I wanted to put 2.5% of salt in here, I would need 74.35% of salt. So I thought I'd give that to you. You can do it either way. You can do a 0.02 or you can do a 2.5. It just adds a little bit more salt, but doesn't care for an abundance of salt. So we have our salt. We can get rid of our scale, clean it up, and we're off to the races. All right, let me turn you around. This is where the fun begins. Oh, y'all can see. All right, I'm going to sprinkle in salt here, there, and yonder. I want to get everywhere with this salt. Make sure I got it all. Now, I am going to just start combining it together. Now, I won't constantly do this at the start. I just want to get the salt distributed. And I'm going to cover this, and I'm going to walk away for about 30 minutes and then come back and start mashing it and working it again. And I may do this for 2 hours, guys, before I get it over in my crock, because I want to yield as much natural moisture as I can. Okay, I am happy with that. In about 30 minutes, I'm going to give it a good toss again, get my muddle out, and we're going to work it. And like I said, about 2 hours I like to work mine because I want to get as much as we can. That's what protects our sauerkraut. So put it over to the side, clean towel over it, clean your hands. I've let it go about 45 minutes. I am getting some good brine on the bottom, which is what I want. And now I am just going to give it a good mash. Now you can use a potato masher, anything you have. I'm not going to overwork it because like I said, it's very cool in here. And I like to let it sit 2 hours, work it about every 30 to 40 minutes and let it naturally release without bruising too much of the cabbage. You see how it has shrunk down, but I like using a big bowl because I can get down in there. And you see I'm just going here, there, and yonder. Okay? Now let's check it and see. Oh yeah. All right, I'm going to cover it back up. About 30 minutes, I'm going to mash it again. Y'all, this smells so stinking good. If you like sauerkraut, and I'm going to tell you something. If you're not a sauerkraut fan, I would advise making a little batch and trying it. You'd be surprised. Well, I'm finally back. It's been 2 hours. And let me tell y'all, it has done very well. But I got to share some news with y'all. Yes, I know maybe one of you are just going to see me for the first time on YouTube. Go back to yesterday's video, me canning carrots, and you'll understand. But guys, remember when I was talking about my Presto Precise electric canner? And I said the only problem I have with it is you got to adjust the wheel, right? Or it won't allow for vacuum. So I said, made a note, self, I'm calling Presto and maybe give some advice or something. But then all of y'all were like commenting, well, mine has a guard and mine has this. And basically y'all were talking about the same thing. Only one of you emailed me with a picture, and I was like, well, mine doesn't have that little guard. It's just like a little L bracket. So I called Presto. I believe they're out of Minnesota, Michigan, somewhere out there, somewhere up there. But spoke with a lovely lady by the name of Cindy. I explained to her that I did say I have a YouTube channel, and I said I can carrots, and I told her the story that if there was one thing Presto could fix, because I am a Presto fan and have been since my 20s. So I told her, and she chuckled. I says, but then all of my subscribers, my friends, reached out and said, mine has this, 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 this. I said, and one in particular emailed me a picture. And she chuckled again. And she said, Miss Nash, let me get your address. So she got my address. They are sending me FedEx a brand new lid. And I told her, I said, as soon as I go back to my video of the day, and we had a chit chat about that, sauerkraut, I said, I'm going to make sure to let all of my friends know if you're questioning a Presto Precise electric canner, don't question it, because there's nothing wrong with it. They're supposed to come with a bracket, guys. How was I supposed to know? She even said, have you looked in the box? Well, yeah, I immediately grabbed the box because I keep it, in the box. There was nothing in there. Was not even a mark in mine. So, which mine was still working after I figured it out. But who knew? But I had to hurry up and get this sauerkraut ready because I wanted to share the news. And how goofy is that? I could have said this at any time, but y'all know I'm weird. I said when my sauerkraut gets done, I'm going to share the story. So yes, Lippy has a brand new lid coming with the bracket. And she also told me something else. And I will leave this information in the bracket, in the description. I'm going to leave their phone number. We all need their phone number. I'm also going to leave a link to a Facebook page. She informed me that it is strictly run by the Presto Precise Electric Pressure Canner Group only. I believe I looked it up, 13 or 14,000 members. So I'm going to leave that link. I joined because I think that would be kind of interesting. But it's what she said about the group. She says, we don't snob telling people what not to do. She goes, really, it's helping each other. Or if there's a question, we are there to answer it and share recipes and anything and everything you want to know about this electric pressure canner. And of course, I joined. So I'm going to leave Presto's local number, meaning in the USA, a link. Then I'm also going to leave a link to their personal Facebook page, Presto themselves. So I thought it was kind of cool. But I had to share that because I was like, hot diggity dog, because here I was going to call them and say, hey, I'd like to recommend something. Yeah, I was. And y'all saved me from the sheer embarrassment. I'm talking about, yeah. Can y'all imagine? Ding-a-ling, Presto. I'm a canner, and I love your electric canner, but y'all need to modify. Y'all, I'd have dug a hole in the yard and buried my own self. You hear me? Y'all saved my life. I didn't embarrass myself. Well, I kind of embarrassed myself by admitting that's what I was going to do. But anyhow, I didn't really go off the deep end and try to tell a company what they need to be doing. Like I'm all that in a box of chocolates or something. Nope, I need to just stick to sipping coffee, making my sauerkraut, waiting for my new lid to come in. Oh, and I asked her, I says, so you want me to put the other lid back in the box? She said, oh, no, no, no. You keep that lid. There's parts on it. How'd you say it? There's parts on it that you're going to need. I said, oh. Okay. She said, it's in your manual. You have it? I said, oh, yeah. Because she was going to send me one. I have the manual. So that's going to be for Mr. Buddy. And actually, I'm going to make him do it. Not make him, but I'm going to film him whatever he's got to do to the lid because it's something we need to know, right? I think that'd make a good little video. I don't know what's supposed to be on my old one. They're supposed to go on the new one, but we're going to find out together. So, yeah. I'm going to hold my own self to that, and I'm going to film him changing parts or whatever it is. But yes, there's nothing wrong with a Presto Precise 12-quart electric pressure canner. I'm just saying. And no, I'm not a paid person or a affiliate. I'm a nothing. I'm just Miss Lippy. But I told y'all I stand behind that canner. And boy, I'm kind of glad that I did my carrots yesterday with y'all. Because now I have a working lid coming. All right, we got to get the sauerkraut. I said I wasn't going to make this video long. But, guys, it shrunk. So I was like, do I really want to use that big crock? So instead I washed 4 largemouth, you want wide mouth, mason jars. Hang on. And I washed them out, soapy, hot water. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. I have weights. I think 4 is enough. So let's get this jar going. Let me go set this down. This is going to be good. There we go. Now, there is only one way to do this. Now, you could wear gloves, but I don't think my husband minds. I have clean hands. And yes, I'm going to leave the water down in there because that's what I'm going to top the jar with. You know what? I forgot my funnel. Now, you don't have to use a funnel, guys, but I'm trying to keep the mouth of the jar. Why, y'all ain't sitting right. Hang on. That's better. Lord, me and my filming. Now, you're going to have to want to pack this in. But I'm just getting enough to where I can get some of it in there and pack it down. Because all the residual liquid is going to go from in here to in here. All right, I'm going to have to set my jar down so y'all can see. And I'm just going to take my packer and I am going to mash and mash. And see, I've already got plenty of liquid. Look, guys. Oops, if y'all can see. I know my lighting ain't good, but we get a new light in 2 weeks. See how that liquid is wanting to come up? See if y'all can see it this way. See that? And that's what you want. All right, I'm going to pack some more in here. All right, I'm good right there. Let me get the bottom cleaned off. Yeah, and you'll have to clean your jars. But you see, and we'll go back in and clean them all once we fill them. So I've left a good 1.5 inches below the neck. And I'm fine with that. Boy, I'm good. I ended up with 4 quarts. It's usually a quart per head of cabbage. Unless it's some big hunker, you know. But a standard, nice size cabbage, a quart usually is what you get. So I'm going to drop the camera. I did put the sauerkraut in all the jars. I took the residual brine that was in the big bowl, and topped them off. But I'm going to set the camera because I really want to try and zoom in because I want y'all to see what you're looking for. This is where it is most critical. Besides the weighing, this is what I would consider the most critical. So I'm going to try and set the camera on the floor to get even to the jars. And let's see if Lippy can make this work, because I want you to really see it up close. I think we're going to be set up very good because I'm going to be able to zoom in. Let's move these 3 out of the way. Now I do have, let me show you, they're all about even, okay? I would say an average because I took some from one about 2 inches below the headspace. This is the best tool. Now I did take a clean, damp paper towel and come in because what you don't want is any residual cabbage on the inside that is above the brine. The best way I have found to clean that is to kind of go in at an angle. Let me show you. And just kind of lightly press. See that? Go back in. And that is how I have found that gets it all off the inside of the jar above the brine. And I'm gonna do this one, which I've done them once already, but I like to go back in. And I'm gonna look from this side, but you got what to do on this one. This to me is the most critical. I know y'all can't see me. I've done 3. Cling wrap. Now, you can use your cabbage leaves to cover the cabbage. My cabbage leaves had a little bit of frostbite on them. And especially when here's a little piece right here. When I go to the store and buy cabbage to make his kraut, I definitely don't use the outer leaves. But cling wrap, I ain't sponsored by these people, has been my friend. And I just take it over the mouth, set my weight on, ease it down, tuck it around the edge like that. And everything is submerged and no air is getting into that kraut. See what I'm saying? I mean, it's still going to be able to breathe, guys. But I don't have to worry about something getting in there. And there you have it. Let me get the ring on. Beautiful. So now I'm going to set them in a 9x13 pan, a metal pan. It's got about a 2-inch lip on it. You definitely want to set them in a pan because you may have some seepage or whatever. And, you know, you don't want that mess. And what I do is every day I'll just kind of come and pinch this. It's not required, so the book says, but I like to pinch it. See, there was already some gas there. And that's all I do. And this is going to set in our guest room where it stays between 60 and 68 degrees in the dark. And on the 5th day, Buddy will test it and then move from there. The most I think I've ever gone is 8 days. And he'll say, okay, that's the pickling taste that I want. And that's what you have to do. I've heard some people go 14 days, 16 days. It all depends on what your palate is. So when we get to that point, between 5 and 7 days, I will then remove this, put one of them plastic canning lids on. You know, you've seen them, Ball has them and off brands, but just a plastic lid. I will set them in the ice box. This will last for months, but he will go through one of these every 2-3 weeks. So let's say 3 weeks, we've got 6, we've got 12. So we've got 3 months worth. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And then when I see that he's getting low, about a week and a half before he gets empty, I will make him another batch. And, you know, and I can go off and do things the way that I prefer to make it. So I'm not sitting there just working it continuously. And it did take two and a half hours maybe today. So that wasn't so bad. That allowed me time to do some other things. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like kraut and, you know, you've struggled making it, maybe the key was the weight, you know, weighing it out. But yeah, this is how Lippy makes her kraut. It's absolutely beautiful. Mr. Buddy's going to be a happy man. And we got to learn about the Presto electric can. Why do I keep calling it a can opener? Pressure canner. I got a can opener on my mind. I don't even have an electric can opener. I have one of them cranky things. You know, them old-timey, you crank and you crank. Yeah, that's what Lippy got. I don't need too many things that plug and play. Y'all know I suck at that plug and play stuff. So anyhow, I got to get ready to do some supper. Get these put in a pan and moved. And thank you again for spending some time with me today making sauerkraut. So I hope the rest of your evening is a blessed one. Not sure when I'll see you again. It won't be long, I can tell you that. So what do I say? As always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And go make you some kraut.